years of consultation with Indigenous people on ABC.
This isn't something that's come from politicians. This is something that's come from the ground up, from Indigenous people themselves.
Australians will go to the polls later this year to vote on the referendum. Amanda Kopp, National Radio News, Canberra.
Top social welfare agencies are calling for a May budget that prioritises low-paid and vulnerable Australians still grappling with soaring costs of living and high interest rates. The official cash rate has been put on hold for the first time in nearly a year, after the Reserve Bank put off any rate hike for April, giving mortgage borrowers a reprieve. Cassandra Goldie from the Australian Council of Social Service has told National Radio News the government has a responsibility to prioritise vulnerable Australians in this year's budget, after relying on interest rate rises to curb inflation.
This means that the government has to move fast to support those who are already in real trouble. Look, we have far too many people now who are desperately struggling to keep a roof over their head.
Donald Trump is accusing prosecutors of electoral interference after facing court accused of making hush money payments. Immediately after the court hearing in New York, the former US president flew back to Mar-a-Lago, where he addressed a crowded room of supporters. He's accusing what he calls the radical left of trying to interfere in the electoral process. US Attorney Lisa Bloom represented women who came forward with sexual misconduct allegations against Mr. Trump. She says the charges could actually be good for his 2024 presidential campaign.
Apparently he's raised $7 million, according to somebody on his team, in just the last few days from this. It does seem to rally his base. So in kind of a strange way, I think the Donald Trump team thinks this is good for him. It puts him in the news. It rallies his base.
Staying overseas, and New Zealand's Reserve Bank has raised the official cash rate by 50 basis points to 5.25%, just one day after Australia's central bank held rates steady at 3.6. The rise was above the expectations of most banks, which anticipated a 25 basis point move. Governor Adrian Orr cited the effects of Cyclone Gabrielle and Auckland flooding as key drivers for the rise. Israeli police have attacked dozens of worshippers in a mosque in Jerusalem before dawn, in what Israeli police say was a response to rioting. The incident sparked protests across the occupied West Bank, and the Israeli military says 9 rockets were fired from Gaza to